Doing
How's
great.
California? Good. So Helen, where are you from? Wait, you know what? Let's stop. Megan, go ahead. Make an introduction.
Hi everybody. We are here with Helen and Jeannie, but she isn't here yet, and we are going to be talking about the family business.
Woohoo, that's exciting.
Where's my twin power sister?
It's okay. It's totally fine. Steph, let's do an update, and we'll wait for your sister, and then we'll start. So not a big deal. Steph, what have you been up to?
About 5:12.
Oh, she's getting tricky.
So, did you hear from your friends and family that we're supposed to get a little snow?
You're getting snow. Helen, are you getting snow?
We're not getting snow, but my sister has several inches already up in New Jersey. We actually, for the first time in 7 years, we had about 9 inches roughly 2 weeks ago, and it shut the entire island down for 4 days. So we don't know how to deal with snow on the Outer Banks. We just kind of shut down, get whatever we can do to sled and go hit whatever hill you can find, which is not many in the Outer Banks. But we have a lot of rain right now. It's been raining all day, and it's going to rain for 3 days. So
wow.
Oh. No, that doesn't sound like fun. Although I've learned to like the rain. I don't like rain, but I do in California.
Okay, so in one of you, Megan, you're in California, and Stephanie, you're in Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, yes,
okay.
Correct.
Okay, great. I love how social media works, how we can connect so many people.
Yeah, and I am only here for the winter, so I'll be back in Wisconsin April 1st. So
she can't wait to come back.
Actually, I am looking forward to coming home. It's kind
Less
of been
fire?
a rough winter. Yeah, there isn't fire. And part of the reason I leave is like I want to get away and reflect on all the great things in my life, because when you're in your life, you kind of take things for granted. So it's good for me to get away, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I have a great life.
Sometimes we have to be reminded, right, how things work out in our lives, for sure.
Yeah.
But we needed you to go to California to do all these great Barn Bestie videos that you're making.
You do have a point. You know what, though? I gotta admit, I am not the greatest interviewer, but I'm getting better, and I miss Stephanie. And so anyone who watches the videos in the future, yeah, be kind, okay? It's really hard being an interviewer, and I forget a lot of questions, and my bestie isn't there. So it's kind of rough, actually, but I think in a year I'll be way better.
Well, maybe we can get you out to New Jersey to Mayfair Farm, and you can see all the different things that my sister has going on at our farm, and meet some of the rescuers and all of the barn people.
I would love that, and I need to come and look at all the latches at the farm, because
all the hardware.
The internet and everybody who watches Barn Besties is learning I'm a little weird.
Well, if you can find a better way to get some of these latches done, I'm down, because they just did a big revamp at one of the barns, and I don't actually know what kind of latches, but I do know horses do get out. So anything is an improvement. We will be down to learn about, for sure.
Well, what you need to do is go to the YouTube channel, check out the playlist. What is it titled, Stephanie?
Oh, something about Megan loves hardware and latches, something like that.
I love it.
What did we call it, Megan?
Yeah, I think that's what you called it, and I was a little shocked when I saw that.
little surprise, little Easter egg that you had to find. Let me see. I got to look for it here, because I'm looking over on all my screens and find out what I named it, because it was kind of comical.
Helen,
Megan loves latches, hooks, and hardware.
Oh, that's rather sexy sounding.
True.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you. Well, while we're waiting for your sister, why don't you tell us your story and how you found your love of horses? Because I love to hear about everyone's horse story and how it connects all of us.
Okay. Yeah, I have a feeling it probably is very similar to every little girl who, for me, it was going to the carnival and doing the pony rides, except
Oh.
my sister and I had no desire to actually be on the pony. We wanted to lead the pony. So we would convince all of the carnival people, when they come into town for the weekend or maybe a week, we would convince the pony people that we could work for them for free and that we would lead the ponies. And they probably thought it was the best thing ever. They were like these
Yeah.
little, maybe fifth grade, maybe even fourth grade, just, giving that job out to them. And we thought we were so important, taking the little kids walking around the circle. And that is what my very first memory of horses will be. And my sister was telling me, and she totally reminded me of this, when we would go out and our parents would take us to the pony places and like lead us out into the pine barrens of New Jersey. And there's this distinctive photograph of us, I think in dresses, on these ponies. And that for both of us was the beginning of, that childhood love of horses. And then luckily for us, our Aunt May started her own passion for horses when she was like 20 and started giving us riding lessons. And we were probably in about fourth or fifth grade. And that turned into, well, there was a pivot where my aunt was looking to invest in a farm and she needed some family to help her. And it was going to be between our family actually moving to this farm or my Aunt Helen, who I'm named after. So little history of that. It ended up not being us. It ended up being my Aunt Helen and her family joining forces with my Aunt May, and they started at the time CK Farms. So we grew up riding horses, mucking stalls, doing all the barn things that, for me, and I think for many of us that can relate, just gives you that quality of life and that barn mentality, where as far as a work ethic and having a compassion and a responsibility of a large animal. And that is what took us through our middle school years until we, well, not unfortunately, but we ended up moving to Australia for a year.
Wow.
Because our mom, we're half Australian, and our mom was battling cancer, and we moved to Australia to get health care over there. But I tell that story because horses were our therapy. Like anytime we were 10 years old, you're in that young middle school. It's a really interesting time for young girls. And what got us through were horses. And we found a barn in Australia. And I mean, I don't know how many days our family just took us to the farm to just kind of be away and be maybe a little disconnected from what was really going on in our family.
Yeah.
And that kind of carried us through her unfortunate passing. And then when we moved home was CK Farms, which is now Mayfair. And I will tell you that saved my sister and I. Being twin sisters, we were gone for almost a year and a half, and we come back to middle school. And it's that very trying time of being a very young teen and, kind of losing your friends and losing your way and being at that farm and riding pretty much every day, every summer, keeping us out of trouble, out of boys, out of, all the things, but really just truly saving us emotionally and all the things. So kind of fast forward a little bit. We did horse shows. We got a little bit into dressage. I always thought I was going to be this cross country rider and, all the things. And, So we competed together up through high school. And then, what happens to a lot of teenagers, you kind of have to make a choice. And for me, it was moving to North Carolina. And unfortunately, my university, which was Wilmington, didn't have a horse program. But my sister, on the other hand, went to University of Rhode Island and went into animal science. And the horse that we shared, his name was Irish, moved with her. And so she continued her horse journey up until this day, where I actually left horses for many years. I would only ride when I went home. We did a fantastic trip to Montana. That was actually right when we graduated high school. We did a 10-day pack trip, and I recommend anyone who loves horses to do some kind of pack trip in your life, because it was the best experience that I could ever have imagined. But again, our lives kind of diverge away from each other. And for being twins, that we were so close back in high school with our horse world, we really became very disconnected. And I think, again, it was only horses that kind of brought us back. When I would go visit, I would go to the farm. My sister worked 10 years at a dairy farm, and I would go with her and milk cows on like New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, because the cows have to be milked. I would go and help her. But she graduated with an animal science degree, and again went into actually dairy for a while. And I went into geology, and we just kind of did our thing for a while. And unfortunately, we actually lost touch for a really long time. And while my sister kept going with the horses, I got married. I had twins. I don't know if you know that, but I'm a twin with twins. So it really wasn't until my sister's life kind of pivoted, where she had the opportunity to go back to Mayfair Farm and become the owner operator, which is where she's at now, that I also began to get back into horses and this opportunity and this business. So fast forward again, and Jeanni is now, working our aunt's farm, and I work with her, helping to get a few rescues there, and then this business opportunity arose, and we are here today, where we work every day together. We talk all the time, and now we're trying to help as many horses, riders, and all the things with an online opportunity, but also with a equine collagen. So that's a little bit. I may have gone on a rampage. So if you had any questions between there, and I apologize. I so thought my sister literally, she did call me, but I don't know why she can't get on. I can only imagine.
It's okay. I've done it before. Don't worry about it. So tell us, so I want to know, what's it like working with family? Like, did you guys start with a business plan before you started? And like, how do you decide, who picks what? Like, how do you make decisions, right? So I think Stephanie and I we have families involved in our businesses and have very different experiences. And sometimes it can be clashing, and sometimes it can be a wonderful thing. So can you start with, like, how did you decide to go into business together? And how do you not have conflict?
Oh, we still have some conflict for sure. And to be honest, one of the reasons why we had kind of separated in our lives was that we were very different. She had taken this her own path, and I had taken mine in North Carolina, and we were different from our views and our way of working. And when my sister was working at a nonprofit farm, actually before that, she was working at a show barn, she met a young 12-year-old Samantha Saget, who I'll give a big shout out to because she's the whole reason we're in this industry, and taught her how to ride.
Mhm.
And during that time, as you know, from 12 years old until she went to college, my sister was her trainer, and Sam had gotten into a different company, an online company, prior to that. And then if you fast forward a couple of years, when she started working with our existing company, she contacted my sister about this business for 6 years.
Oh, no way.
And Jeannie, you know, was still in the middle of working at other farms, not with Mayfair. And I'm in marketing. I was raising my children. I was working part-time. I still work part-time for a magazine. And my sister calls me and she's like, Helen, do you remember Sam Saget and me teaching her how to ride? And I said, oh yeah, I remember Sam at the Christmas parties and all the things. She was a phenomenal rider. And she's like, well, I'm doing a thing. And I'm like, okay. And I said, all right, what are you doing? And she's like, well, don't judge, don't do all the things, but I finally said yes to an opportunity, and I want to just, you know, I want your support. And that was kind of the beginning, because when I realized that what my sister was doing and helping people, because originally the Equine Collagen has always been on the market with our company, but it really was just like a secondary product. It was mainly only about 2 years ago where the expansion really kind of took off. And that's when Jeannie and I, as soon as I saw what she was doing, I said, Jeannie, I trust you. I trust Sam. I want to check this company out, and I want to check out these products. And literally within maybe 3 months, again, I'm the marketing person. I'm the one, she's telling me she can't get on. I'm the one that does advertising. I'm the one that knows how to do social media. Like I can do this with you, you know, and that really started our journey of working together. And I immediately, you know, just saw the opportunity, and I thank it every day, because I really think my sister and I would have probably never come back around to where we are now. And that I also don't think she would have been in the position to take on Mayfair Farm if we didn't see the vision of how to connect the farm with our business, and then letting it grow. So even though we do have conflict still, we have my sister, who by far is the more equine expert than myself, but the compliment that I give with the marketing and the social media, we're really able to get in. Yay! My twin power sister. Yay!
Hey, welcome.
Definitely the one who is not tech.
I don't know anything about technology, so join the club. It's all fine. You're welcome. You're welcome here.
I'm like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Let me see if I can figure this out. And yes, hi ladies.
Hey, how are you? So we're getting the rundown in your history about how you guys grew up together, and now we're talking about how you guys started your business together. We just started to learn about it.
All the deep, dark secrets.
Oh, I love.
I don't know if Helen, you want to continue, and then you jump in.
Well, sure, Jeannie. I'd also be curious, Jeannie, because I told the carnival story of us riding ponies. I don't know if you want to add a quick, like, what's a favorite memory of you and I riding together before we went to college and then came back?
Well, you know what memory I'm going to share, Helen, because for sure it's like been it's my passion to try to do this. Anywhere and everywhere is our trip. So we went out to Montana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my dad decided to send us out there. We were probably 16 time by ourselves, you know, and flew out to this ranch in Montana and went on a pack trip. and it has been my like passion. I love going on a pack trip. I don't know if any of you gals have gone out in the wilderness and gone camping. You have to love camping, and I will only camp if it involves horseback riding. I won't camp just like, throw the pack on and like a hiker. I'm just not a hiker, but I do pack trips in Wyoming now. But that Anna, I just remember it was one we were on our own for the first time, and we had, it was just such a special time. And we did another trip with our dad, which was even just the best. I mean, here's this like really, a well-known lawyer, for law, goes out on a horseback riding trip with his daughters. And, but yeah, I'd say, the horses in general, like have just been like such a period of our lives in so many different ways. And I almost feel like a little bit different in how it kept Helen and I really close together too, as, because we live apart. I live in New Jersey. She's in, I guess she probably says she's in North Carolina. So, but it really has always kept us in this like close bond, I would say. So one of my favorite stories is our trip out there.
I think that's wonderful because that's both of your guys' favorite trip. I think that's really special. That's both of your moment. I love it. So we do have a question. What part of Australia did you live in?
So we lived mainly, most of our families in Melbourne, Australia. We would take riding lessons about 30 minutes out into, I would say it's not down in Victoria. It's definitely more temperate. It's not like the outback. But we had an aunt who I love that we can answer this, who lived in Dubbo. She actually was a vet and was also an equestrian, like a really good equestrian in Australia. Her name was Kathy, and she lived in Dubbo where she had a big sheep farm and cattle. And this is when we were around 11 or 12. And Australians, and particularly horse people, Australians, they are tough cookies. Like in general, we all know that horse people are really tough, good, hardworking people. But in Australia, it's like tenfold. And they would just send my sister and I out to go grab the ponies, Rambo and Possum, and tack them up by ourselves. And our job was to go and count the baby calves. So we would do that every day. And again, I think they were trying to literally distract us from really what was going on. But us being on horses together, everyone knows it's one of the best therapies out there. That's why they have, therapeutic horse businesses, because we know what a horse can provide you emotionally. And we would just have the best time going out there and counting cows.
Aww.
Well, Sue asked this because Sue is our resident transplant Aussie. She mentioned in the chat she's originally from Tasmania.
Always wanted to go there. Yeah, Australia was Australia was a definite. It definitely brought in the toughness about when you were around horses or when you worked at a farm. Like early on, I don't know how much Helen even said. Like it was always about the work. It was about being in an area where it was like you figured out and solved your own problems. If we couldn't catch possum, Aunt Kathy was like, well, you have all day. You have all like go, those calves by the day's over, you're good. Like if it takes you 2 hours to catch possum, because it would, and not get mauled by a bull because you had to go into the whole, it was such a story in itself to be out there with her. So I love that somebody from Tasmania.
That's wonderful. And so now the two of you have formed a business together. And before you even started, did you sit down and talk about what the pros and cons of working together would be like?
Yes and no. I honestly, Helen, do you mind if I kind of dive into this one? You know, during the start of this idea of doing something different, in for me, like in as an industry in general, I've been in horses for 30 plus years, and I did the show farm for many, many years, you know, barn manager, travel, and then I worked at a nonprofit for a long time. And it was during a time where actually Helen and I were starting to really drift apart
Mhm.
in different ways. It was right after like COVID lockdowns were still kind of happening, and it just was a really awkward time for us. And the idea of us getting into business together, like, was a conversation that didn't involve anything other than like, let's do something different. Let's do something completely different that we can do together. Um, you know, it sounded, you know, I can go back into the story and how I got involved, you know, I think just a few weeks before Helen did, was through one of my dearest working students from when she was 12, introduced me to this company. Now she's in her 30s, but she introduced me to the idea of like, you know, you're in your 40s, you want to do something different. This really aligns with the horses and with the riders and the people, and you love helping people, and you've always helped kids. And I, you know, I can go on, but you know, when I thought about who I wanted to really do this with, it was like that struggle that Helen and I were going through as sisters. This It changed the frequency of our conversations. We didn't have to have conversations about what we were disagreeing with. We had conversations about how we were going to help other people, or how we were going to help horses, or how we were going to it just changed, like I said, our frequency with it. So,
And I'll definitely add that it also aligned with when Jeannie took over Mayfair. It just kind of confirmed to us that along with having this online business, we had this opportunity to connect it back to the family farm, which had been such a big part of our life. And that's what really, we both just kind of knew that this was really what kind of saved our relationship, and we could grow it. So whether or not we did kind of just jump in full force without too much of a plan. And I would say we muddled around for a few months, but then as we realized the opportunity and became more comfortable with the social selling, we've kind of come into our own, and now we just feed off each other with our different strengths and our weaknesses as well.
yeah.
And when
Failed.
you, oh, go ahead.
I would say we failed forward quite a bit. Like right, we fail forward.
I love it. I'm failing forward all the time. I love it. And that you guys are brave to do it. And I love how in your story is that this has actually brought you together, because I think on some family businesses, it tears families apart, or, you know, causes little, that's what I wanted to talk about, is like, how do you do it? And when there is a conflict, how do you guys solve the conflict?
You know, I think the conflicts that we experience with what we're doing in this like online space and business, and it really, our conflicts are really minimal. It's, you know, I think the hardest part, because we saw a lot of conflict so originally Mayfair, I don't know what Helen might have said about Mayfair and how it was first, you know, how it first came about was our two aunts and an uncle that bought the farm together. And that actually, the conflict, I think we see that we both saw in that family dynamics, there was a lot of conflict there. They had a lot of struggle working through some of those problems. And I think just the conflicts Helen and I have overcome with our outside businesses, it's so weird, like we haven't had a ton of conflict with just each other and running this online business together. We bounce ideas off of one another. We have a great support system in this company with, you know, I think when you get to a certain age, at least for me, when I really dig deep in my feelings about the other parts of this business, is the community of people that we've been brought into this fold of just the support and having people, you know, always in our corner.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, you know, again, maybe the struggles, like for me, for the struggle, the hardest part was for me was like managing time. But that's where Helen and I bounced off of each other. I'm still in the horse industry, so I'm still super busy. You know, you both know that emergencies happen, whether it's Christmas Eve or, your birthday. And where with this business, if I'm kind of stuck, even if Helen gets stuck, we just, hey, can you help me with this client? Hey, can you talk to this person about product or help set up their accounts? And, let's reschedule. Like it's finally brought actually a lack of conflict. Like,
Yeah, I love it. It kind of reminds me of Stephanie and I,
Yep. I was going to say the same thing, Megan.
Yeah. Like when she's struggling, I poke at her. When I'm struggling, she pokes at me. And then I'm like, I don't know how to do a thumbnail. I don't know how to do this. And then she'll be like, Megan, you still haven't figured out the shorts. You got to do this.
And when I'm struggling and I just am having a hard time, I mean, she's really, I know you're sort of quote on a quasi vacation, but she's really picked it up. She's really gone after, for instance, talking to you two ladies. She, reached out. She's been doing a lot of stuff, recording a lot of videos out in California. So yeah, it's kind of like a yin and yang, a yo-yo. When one of us is up, the other one might be down, and one of us is, vice versa. So you kind of pick up after each other. And so, like, how do you guys split your duties, or is there any sort of like business things that like one person does because the other person doesn't want to do it, or?
Yes and no. Like it really becomes situational. Like we both have our own set of clients that we've concentrated on, and then when we started getting into the horse space more and more, like the whole equine expansion for this product kind of started into around 2017. I got involved just around 2021, but there really wasn't a big voice for the equine space. So I was fortunate enough, like I said, the woman who invited me into this business, Sam Saget, just love her to pieces. She was the one who kind of prompted me, like, listen, I know this might be hard because it's so new to bring into the equine space, but I think because you and your sister work so well together, you guys can help tackle certain parts of the industry. Like I was more of the visual, like talk to people in person. I have the testimonies of the horses that I tried on product. Helen really worked into the idea of like, let's expand, let's keep reaching out to different people and like connecting with, ourselves. And she's really the driving force. Like one of our big aspirations is to break more business into Australia. Like that was is a really big goal for both of us, because one, it brings us just that idea of like, we can have Australian clientele and people marketing and expanding the product out in that country would be just like a dream come true for us. And yeah, I feel like I'm kind of rambling off the topic now.
No, I totally want to jump in here because we do have different strengths, and I hesitated to get into the horse realm of this maybe about a year ago because I had been disconnected with horses. But when I really started meeting more equine experts in Modere and with our company, and then seeing what Jeanni was doing with Mayfair and the horses that were on product, it really kind of inspired me. I mean, I never thought I would be saying this and thinking that I want to own a horse again and that I have dreams and aspirations to get, other than the trail. I mean, whenever I go home, I'm hopping on the saddle. Like, I know I want to take my kids who are 16. We're going to do a Montana trip. So horses have never really been out of my life. But when I saw this as an opportunity to get them back in my life, then I immediately was like, Jeanni, we can work this out. Like I can get the social media down. I can do reach outs. When I saw one of your first YouTubes, I was like, these girls kind of remind me of Jeanni and I because they're working a business together. And I hesitated when I sent my first email to you all. And I was like, don't be scared, Helen, just sometimes you have to put yourself out there. And I have my sister, when I do my part of the business with equine, I rely heavily on her to get that relationship with horse people, and maybe like the third party validation, until I grow my horse clientele. We're a great team together because we have different strengths, and I do all the reach outs on social media. I join the social groups, and then I put the two of us in conversations as often as I can to make those connections. So we work off each other very weirdly, very well.
I think, of course. And what I find great about this conversation is I've had a business for 25 years, horse trainer, and I've always been told never to have a partner. And I've always wanted a partner, actually, because it's kind of lonely. And so when I broached Stephanie, we've been friends, I don't know how many years, but we work really well together and have the same values. And I got to say, it's really enjoyable. We haven't had too many conflicts, but the beauty of us is we're not shy,
Right.
like we tell each other, I don't like what you're doing. And the other one doesn't get offended. Are you guys the same way in that? Like, I love that, because most people can't handle my boldness, and I don't know, they get all excited about it. And I just want to get to the point and move on to get to the greater good of what our purpose is. And would you agree?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. I am a big, if people who really know me, I love to collaborate with people. And I feel like in the industry, the horse world, it's especially my area is pretty saturated. There's a lot of farms. I could probably list how many different lesson people have gone from one barn to the one barn, or that story really well. Yep. I'm a big collaborator. Like, if I feel like there's people that I can lean on to help, and like Helen is one of the people I lean on for this business, because she brings, even with my own with Mayfair and how I run Mayfair, she's a different opinion in my book. Mm-hmm. Like, I can bounce things off of her that maybe I'm not going to think about. Like, maybe it's a little outside the box, but like, hey, I'll take whatever your thoughts are on this. We may not agree completely, but it definitely gets the ball rolling again. And then just collaborating with other professionals, like, I'm very big into that. And I don't know why a lot of people really shy away from that. Does that kind of make sense?
Oh, totally. I have struggled, and I don't know if it's the location where my business is, but I have really wanted to connect with other professionals, other horse trainers, and it just, the opportunities weren't there, or they weren't going to be good friends, right? And so then I was like a little bit leery, but I was like, of starting with Steph, because I was like, oh, they've always told me a partnership, but I was like, but Stephanie's my person, right? Like, she we can bounce ideas off of each other. She doesn't get offended when I say I don't like your idea, and like, I don't get offended when she's like, dude, your titles suck, like because I value her opinion, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to keep working on this. And I think that's really what's important too, to share in a partnership. And I've always wanted one, but like, I find it really, like, people don't tell the truth.
People get offended, I think. Yeah. Like, personally offended. Like, they'll say they want to grow, and I want to learn, I want to grow. But then when you give them some critique, it's like this massive offense, and they just have a meltdown, and suddenly friendships are over. And Megan and I think part of it was because we got to be pretty tight, because we used to run together. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing that exposes the rawness of your being like going out in some god awful weather. And we trained up and we ran a half marathon together, and there is nothing quite that will literally strip down all your fences and bring you close together than struggle busing through 13.1 miles. Right, Megan?
Oh, I hated you.
Absolutely. One of our, perks and benefits of being in Modere is we do a lot of different types of, we're going to Texas in a few weeks, going to Houston for our big conference. Well, we did a leadership conference to Utah, and we had to climb this mountain. It was part of like this,
Yes.
I know why you're laughing at me, Helen.
I know.
It literally like switchbacks. Okay. So I know what a switchback is when it comes to climbing a mountain, but I'm usually on a horse and I know to lean forward and then lean back. Right. So I have to hike. It's only like 18 switchbacks. So that just tells you how steep it is. And I just remember being like, Helen, just leave me behind. Just leave me. And she's like, no, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. I'm telling you, you're going to make it. I mean, it was the best feeling. And we have the best picture of us like standing on top. It was actually called Mount Y. It's in Provo, I think Provo. And it's this big Y. I can't even remember why it's Y, but it was torture. And we're doing it again this year. And I'm like, no, I just can't make it up this mountain.
That was our half mile, because I was like, I turned to her at mile 8 and I looked at her and I said, I hate you. The only reason I'm here is because of you. And she's like, we can do this. And that's pretty much our business. Because I'm like, I can't do the internet like you can. Like I don't do, and it sounds like, Helen, that's what you do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I used to do Spartan races back in my earlier 40s. So, and I had a workout group, and this was, I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I go work out even today. But when we were in Utah together at the leadership conference, and we knew about the why is everyone is symbolic. Why are you doing this journey? Why are you doing this business? And, I still beat Jeanni up there, but I definitely, we pushed each other. We had so many laughs on that trip, and it just kind of like, it makes you realize that you can really do anything when you put your mind to it. You really can. And why not do it with one of your best friends? Why not jump in and just try? I mean,
yeah,
I'm 52, but why not?
You're either still friends at the end and better friends, or you hate each other.
Yeah.
We're going to be better friends, because I'm not going to go down that other route. Like that's not
right?
who we are.
It's not an option.
It's not an option. Sorry. You're stuck with me, Steph.
Yep. You're stuck with me, Megan.
And so now let's delve into your business. What is the business that you started?
So, Helen, you want me to go with this in the first? You want?
I mean, I'll take the basics. Yeah, absolutely. So when we originally got into Modere, which is the online company that we're with, they're based in Utah. It's a health and wellness company, but their star product, one of many, but one of their biggest is a collagen. It's a liquid collagen. And so I know that's a big buzzword. I know, there's so many products out there, and I had never really taken that many supplements before. And when I heard about what my sister was using, I'm like, you know what? We were about 48 at the time when we started. And, I knew having kids, I had some hair loss, and doing the Spartan races, my knees were feeling it. Riding horses with Jeanni, like we were just kind of feeling that age. And so what I didn't know about collagen was that it's basically the biggest protein in your body. Your body's made up of collagen and hyaluronic acid. And at age 30, which I known this at age 30, your collagen and your HA levels start to decrease. And if you're not putting a quality collagen back into your body, you're going to start feeling your joints. You're going to start seeing the wrinkles. And it was within 30 days of taking this product that I was like, wow, now I've been on it for 3 years, and, I have these little baby hairs coming, and my knee doesn't hurt anymore. And I don't know if you know this, but horses, humans, and dogs and cats have the same molecular makeup of collagen. So when you look at a bottle of human Modere BioCell collagen. It is the same collagen that we give our horses and our pets, but in a different concentration. And a liquid is probably the most important part of it because a collagen molecule is a very big molecule. So a lot of the products out there, you're going to get maybe 10 to 30% absorption into the body because the molecule is so big. Unless that company has it bio-optimized to the certain molecular weight, your body's not going to absorb it, or it's going to take a lot of it to absorb it. So what Modere has done has gotten it down to the correct molecular weight where we can actually say that you're getting up to 96% absorption into your body, into your horse's body, into your dog's body. And it can actually raise your hyaluronic acid level 6,000% within 30 days. So we immediately jumped onto this product. Now we have so many other hero products as well, but the collagen is what really brought us into this company. And then learning about what it can do to help horses, and I'll let Jeanni dive into that part, really, and the fact that the market was so young here as far as availability. Like I'm in North Carolina. We have Tryon, out in near Charlotte, and we have Aiken, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Big horse industries that I've been working with for about 6 months now. I've been really concentrated in that area, and not many people know about it, so it really kind of confirmed to Jeanni and I that this expansion is where we need it to be, because we know what it does for our bodies. I know how I feel, and I can relate that to a horse. A horse can't tell you how they feel and how great the product is, but when you see it in their skin and in their hooves and in their overall well-being, then you've got a quality product. But I'll let Jeanni kind of dive into that part, but that is what brought us together, and is what we're working really hard to do, is to help really as many riders and horses with product as we can.
Awesome. Steffi, what's your question?
Circling back to when you were talking about absorption, where is the product absorbed in us humans and the horses? Actually, like, is this mainly absorbed in the stomach? Is it really the molecule absorbed in like the large intestine or the small intestine, or how do we absorb and get the best benefit? Where do we absorb? Maybe
absolutely. I'll talk about the human. So it's a liquid format where you take 1 tablespoon twice a day. And you know how in your mouth and in your tongue are one of the largest pores in your body. So you actually get most of the absorption in your mouth and in your esophagus going down to your stomach. Most of it will be absorbed prior to hitting the stomach acids, and with a horse, with their digestion, you top dress it onto their feed. Jeanni, you may want to take it from there, but it's definitely like when you take your tablespoon, you swish it around in your mouth a little bit, and then you swallow. And
so like a sublingual absorption.
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Jeanni?
So I'll kind of go in a little bit more. And again, part of the business, what really drew both of us, and this is not just the products really sold themselves. I started on product, not in about 2 weeks. I was like, I'm in, like I'm 100% in, because of, as a horse rider, we've had, we've had our falls, right? Like I'm fit at 48, how many times I've fallen off, I've lost count. My favorite hip that I would fall on, I did the good roll to the right. And really that's what's got me taking collagen. It was like, I'm tired of taking Advil every day, all the time, not sleeping because of discomfort. So the product itself really sold me because of how it was working, but also the whole business model, the fact that I could do something, and it started off fairly part-time. Like it was very evident to me when talking to Sam and talking to learning about this company, that it was possible to do in fragments of time. And there's a lot of people in this business in our company that, do make it their full-time job. There are many people who have walked away from their 9-to-5 job because of this. opportunity. But being in the horse industry, the horses industry is something I love. So I don't want to take that completely away from myself. I still want to run a horse farm. I still want to provide a good boarding facility but I wanted an additional stream of income that was relatable to what I was already like, what I liked, what I saw, and I used it on, and then be able to share it with others. I mean, it is a link sharing type of opportunity, which is what, sharing on social media, sharing it to customers, or sharing it at a horse show, wearing a t-shirt and answering questions, or having pamphlets. That opportunity to either work really hard and a lot of extra hours, or just being able to sit at Wawa. I don't know if you have Wawa in Wisconsin. It's a store. It's like a 7-Eleven with better food. And it's my favorite coffee. And I will sit in Wawa parking lot during my lunch break and follow up with people, or talk to different trainers about the opportunity or about the product, or whatever, be on a Zoom call with some of our other marketers and partners. So I liked that flexibility. That made a lot of sense to me. As much as I love to teach, and I loved being part of the horse industry in many different ways over the many years I've been doing it, I also loved the flexibility of, I felt like as a horse rider, I wasn't riding as much anymore. I was teaching to make those extra dollars. And then my vacations were, that's where, again, I was like, I need to go ride a horse on vacation because I haven't ridden in weeks. Does that make sense? Like that was draw to the business, was being able to do this at different time frames. It was something different to do at 48 years old. I followed this path of the horse industry for so long that I've always loved helping people learn how to ride, but I wanted to help people in other ways too. And so like Helen and I both are very passionate about helping others, whether it's a rider feeling better. Like I will tell this quick story. I have one of my clients, her horse is on it and she's on it. She's an endurance rider. She rides, she's 65 years old. Her horse is 12. And he's amazing. And she's amazing. She's had a double hip replacement before BioCell. And she's been nothing but a top competitor at her level. She just came back from Florida 100 endurance, which that's insane. Like I don't know if you've ever ridden for like as many hours as an endurance rider rides.
Nope.
The nicest, coolest woman, her name is Donna. And, she'll constantly sends me messages, and she's just like, I about this stuff. Like between my horse feeling great and his recovery, and just keeping him at his best, and then the way I feel, she's like, I used to not be able to. I'd ride these competitions and I couldn't walk for days, and my hips don't hurt, my knees don't hurt. I'm able to get through these, when before it was like she would be downing a bottle of Advil. So it's like a good feeling when you like help people.
I know that's the way I feel about Barn Besties. I'm like, I've been in the horse industry. It's giving me a great opportunity to try something different, and I'm not good at it sometimes. And so I just keep getting better. But we do have a question where we have someone who is asking, where can I buy it?
Great question. You can buy it through, we can easily share a link. That's how we sell it. That's how we represent it, is we share links. We become reps of the company, just like you would if you're a CWD rep or a saddle rep. So we can easily share a link to however you want us to, I guess, on your feed. I don't know. We would love to share. Is this the equine? Does she have a question about like the equine, or for herself?
I think for herself, but probably both. I would say if you guys want to send us a link in our group chat that we started on Facebook, and Stephanie can put it up in the feed. I can't do that. That's a Stephanie. And then I do think we had another question, which is, are you thinking about becoming a citizen of Australia?
Oh, I'll definitely answer that question. So during COVID, I worked on our Australian citizenship. So luckily, our mom never gave up her citizenship when she married our dad. And for a while, actually, we were not eligible until Australia had changed the rules. But yes, we do plan on doing that. So our dream really is to build this industry. The Now Modere has been in Australia for several years, but the equine version of our collagen was only approved about a year ago. And so talk about a new product. So we have been working really hard, Jeannie and I, connecting. Again, social media, like it's a great tool. It is only a tool. Like we go out to horse shows, I do vending, but in Australia, and I actually connected with a woman that I'm working with now to kind of help bridge the gap of that 16-hour difference of connecting with other riders and other horse people that are interested in not only the product to try, but also the business. Because if we can get an excuse to fly out to Australia to present at the Modere conference in Australia or to meet additional riders. And also, when you're doing an online business and you're an entrepreneur, a lot of it can be a tax write-off. It's all part of your business. It's all part about building your own brand. And oh, Jeannie, the dream. We will be going to Australia for, the yearly conference to meet up with the clients and the horses. So absolutely, the sky's the limit with this, and not only in America, but also in other countries. And only the equine is only available in America, New Zealand, and Australia at this time.
Canada.
Oh, and Canada. Sorry. Can't forget the Canadians.
No, don't forget the Canadians. I love the Canadians. Now, I have a question for Jeannie. Can you tell me what you've observed when you start feeding the collagen to the horses? Like I've actually never thought of giving collagen to my horses. So that's why I was excited to talk with both of you.
So I have a barn full of, let's see, I've got 20 horses at the farm, and I would say majority of them, I think 15 horses are now on product. Some I started for several different reasons. One, I was like in the very beginning, I was like, I have to kind of see my own results. I had seen a lot of the results from our, other partners in the company. We have a great results and testimonial pages, but for my own personal, I don't want to say, experiment, I guess, but I was like, I have a few of my lesson horses. They're all, one is 19, one is 24. I, wanted to make sure I put them on it to kind of see, instead of kind of, you can, when your lesson horses, like I have an older thoroughbred and an older jumping horse that has seen a lot of jumps in his day. So you kind of got to know them, what when they're stiff and they're sore. I started noticing both of them, just coming out a little bit looser. They weren't sore, especially Gideon after like a jumping lesson. I was kind of like babied him a little bit the next day, and he never jumped high. Like I have a very light lesson program, but my biggest, I would say, would be my rescues. So one of the things Helen and I did as part of like our giving back to the idea that when we were getting into this horse space together is we rescued 3 auction horses. I had picked them out. I had wanted, what I really was looking at was the idea of having, because part of my business at Mayfair is I have a lot of great adults and we love trail riding. Like I have show horses and I have Western horses. I have a menagerie, but a lot of my adults like to go trail riding. And I have a lot of friends that want to come too. So I had this idea, talked to Helen about it. And I know this story is a little bit long, but there is a point to this. Like maybe if I found just some sort of trail horses that were getting, what goes through auctions. And sometimes you can get super lucky and you find what you want. And I just wanted horses that were very trail broke. They didn't have to ride in the rings, but I could throw them on the trailer and, my sister could ride or whoever wanted to come. But our hearts kind of went to the ones that we're going to keep going down that auction line. It was a gentleman who brings a bunch of horses from Texas. Well, what part of Texas? Bowie, Texas, I think it is. It's like on the Mexican border. And I went and saw these horses. I remember talking to Helen, and I was like, oh, I know we were only going to look at one or two. And I have to take this gelding. I just captured me. And this mare, she had the worst sunburn that on her face, the big white face paint. And then Fabio, I just couldn't turn down. Fabio is a Palomino paint with the big long forelock. And they were the ones that were going to possibly be a camp horse and then go back to a sale. So I rescued these. We kind of rescued. I said, we're getting all three of them. They all came to me thin, different body condition issues, skin issues. Sally is my biggest testimonial to the BioCell. This is where I'm kind of trying to redirect this conversation. So Sally was the one with the bald face. And I mean, literally no hair. And I will send you the photos of her. No hair on the one side of her face. Sunburn that I've never seen. I mean, I've seen it, just never seen like such bad sunburn. She had actually had cancer growing out of her eye. Had her for a week, and this big bump started forming right at her lower lid, and it grew and it grew and it grew. Had to have it removed. But put them all on BioCell, and the transformation. And when you think about it, so when I think about horses to put on, there's so many other reasons, but like it really will kind of, depending on their issues, it does. You need to keep them on it longer and longer. These horses came to me very, very in bad shape. So I wasn't expecting like, wow, in a month, they're going to look amazing. But the differences I did start seeing about their coats and the hair growth on her face. And I tell you, it was pink. It was like just pure skin, no hair on her face. Now she's almost has like her fur completely back on her face. It's amazing. But the properties of the BioCell really, really got me like excited was the recovery from injuries or any kind of soft tissue problem, soft tissue injuries. You know, we all know suspensories and so forth, the way it works at a cellular level. So Sally, back to Sally, who I've already removed cancer from, ends up injuring. She had really bad arthritic knees. I had her knees x-rayed. Like she wasn't 100%. None of them were 100% sound when I got them. I was like, I'm going to save these horses. Helen and I are on a mission to save these three. But Sally was one that I really was kind of iffy about, but I just couldn't let her go. And with her arthritic knees, she somehow fell. Never saw what happened, but I remember coming into the barn and her knee was enormous. And I was like, oh my God, what have you done? Like, did she lay down? Did she bang it that hard? And I was afraid it was going to be like a hematoma on her knee. So, iced it, cold hose. It was in February that this happened. So yeah, cold hosing in the middle of February, outside wash stall, yay me. And probably about a week later, my vet came out and was like, you're doing all the right things. She's like, I think we need to aspirate it. I think there's something she's got an abscess going on in there. I mean, it was enormous, like soft, squishy. So nothing comes out. She aspirates it. Nothing comes out. Like 2 days later, because of that little hole that she used the needle, I didn't see what happened. I come down the barn. She has a split on the side of her knee. No lie, big. Like the skin just split open. It was enormous. Blood, proud flesh, you name it. It was disgusting. And I was like, BioCell, I got to put you back. And I just, I had some other horses on it. And for me, like, luckily with the business, I do get product for free, but I own 5 horses, to have 5 of them on it. So I didn't have her on it. I ordered it right away. It came 5 days later. And the difference, my vet was like, this is going to take forever to heal. Like it's, a knee is a bendable joint. Every time she walks, she's splitting it open. And within about 45 days, it was about this big.
No way.
was amazing. Amazing. I was
You need to put the pictures in. You would not believe it. I didn't even believe it, how well it treated the bruise there.
It bruised. It was like literally a gash. Think of like a really gnarly, deep cut, split open, proud flesh hanging out. Like it was horrible in color. Thank goodness it didn't happen in the summertime and I had to deal with flies.
Yeah.
And even my vet was like, I can't believe it. This is healing so well. Like the skin became very pink versus it being very like necrosis looking. It goes from the inside out so much faster than she anticipated. And then let's see, like 4 months later, same horse catches the lower eyelid. And this is another great, I can't post the photos on Facebook. They won't let me because they're so gruesome. She slits eyelid, literally her lower eyelid is like ripped off. And I get this photo. I'm driving home from Wyoming. I've been on a 10-day wonderful trip into the wilderness. And the woman who's kind of covering me sends me, hey, this is what Sally did to herself. And I'm like, oh shit. Oops, sorry.
Sally's a cutter. No one heard it.
Same thing, 15 stitches later across her eye. Saving the day, like literally, I think it was 14 days. And her eye looked amazing. And this was, I mean, again, you see so many injuries. I mean, you ladies probably have a ton of stories about different things you've seen. I mean, as much as we all hate some of it, it's like, it's part of what we do, we deal with. So kind of really to go back to that same kind of idea and question, like the BioCell to me, like has just changed the game when it comes to one, injury and recovery. Like I know if it can help with the injuries I've seen it help with, I know it's helping with the soreness that they go through or the strains, jumping horses, dressage horses, endurance horses, any type of strain that we're going to put on their bodies, just like us. It's, we need something that's going to help rejuvenate what we're doing. And that's what I really see with the BioCell, with the Equine BioCell. I could give you like 10 more testimonies of just horses in my barn that I see differences is hoof growth. I have a horse that has really crappy feet. And the blacksmith, he's a newer horse to me. I've only had him about a year, and this blacksmith has known him for 15 years. And he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but this horse has never grown this much hoof. And I've been doing them for 15 years. And he's just come to live with me. And I'm like, this is the only thing I've changed. This is it. He's not on any other hoof supplement. He's not on any other type of thing that would help with this. And he's like, well, keep going, because he had horrible feet, the shelly, crappy white feet, heal every time or split up the middle, not a quarter crack, but like they're crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like,
I love it. It's awesome.
I guess it's about talking about it, right?
You gotta be passionate about it. I love it. Is there anything else you guys want to share?
I don't know, Jeannie. I mean, just if you feel like you have that partner in crime that you're, thinking about jumping into a business, don't be scared or do it scared. Like we've definitely have done things that have taken us out of our comfort zone. And, when you find the right people to work with and the right systems, I mean, the stuff that we do is not for everyone. We definitely understand that. And we know that horse people and people in general can have crazy busy lives. And they think, how can I bring on one more thing? But then you also kind of think, well, how can I not bring on one more thing if it brings me together with somebody that I love? It connects me with people that I would never have been connected with before ever in my life that are now one of my best friends. I just encourage people, you can't, sometimes you say yes to opportunities, and, don't be afraid to look one in the face and say, I'm going to try that. And if you fail, you fail. I'm, again, in marketing, I get so many no's every day for different parts of the things that I do. And, just having that mental toughness. I encourage everyone to, I don't know, find a passion. And this has been a wonderful passion for my sister and I.
I think it's wonderful. And, I think it works for some families and it doesn't work for others. And then like Stephanie and I, we're friends, we're pretty much family. And, being able to work together. And I love how your business has brought you closer together. I would say with my ex-husband, my business drove us away, and so I think definitely picking, the right partner, and you guys have the same values, and what a wonderful, you want to service horses and humans. What more could you want? Steffi, you have any questions?
Well, just a reminder to them. So we talked about putting a link. It won't be in the live chat. What I've determined after doing a bunch of these lives with you, Megan, is that live chat doesn't want to replay on YouTube. And they don't have the link to us anyway. We will put it down in the description on this video. So it will be here in the description on this YouTube video. People can look down in there. And it'd probably take a day to get it right, ladies, but we'll get it in there so they can circle back and find it. But let's quick talk about socials. If they want to reach out to you directly on any of your socials, what's the best way for them to contact you guys? Which social media platforms, and then how do they find you?
Find us both on Facebook and Instagram. Mine is super, super easy. It's just Jeanni Mattioni. On Instagram, it's J Mattioni. It's I think we can be pretty findable for sure. And we're always here to answer any questions and, again, share whatever part of this opportunity makes sense to people, whether it's just a supplement that they're looking for, or whether it's something that they're like, I would love more information on how to monetize something that, we all love to refer restaurants. It's no different. Mm-hmm. We built this business is referring a good supplement to people who probably need it and, help solve problems, but they can reach us again through Facebook, through Instagram. Helen is OBX Collagen Gal. So I love her little nickname.
So I'll do a little story behind that. I was having a mentor call, and some of our teammates have developed their own brand. And it really got me thinking, OBX, I don't know if people know OBX, Outer Banks. We were not where the TV show was made. That was actually made in South Carolina, but everyone, knows the show Outer Banks. But I had decided that I was wanting some kind of branding for myself. And it, it's kind of maybe a little quirky, but I've just kind of gone with it and I love it. But on Facebook, I'm just Helen Furr, OBX Collagen Gal. And then on Instagram and on TikTok, I'm OBX Collagen Gal. And Jeanni and I had talked about doing like a fun kind of giveaway with your viewers, so we thought maybe if they respond with Twin Power or with Barn, some kind of fun. Yeah, we're going to do a giveaway, and maybe just take some of your viewers that whoever, there's the equine. Thanks. I'm glad you have the props, Jeanni, because I did not bring any. But, maybe we could put a date, Jeanni, like maybe a week between now and maybe next week. We'll put, the names in a hat and do a drawing for a bottle of collagen or something. Get the human version out there and let people try it. And then
why don't we plan on putting the instructions on how to do this, like how to enter the giveaway? Why don't we put that together tonight and tomorrow morning, and then we will add it to the description on the video here, and they'll know where to go, how to enter, and we'll put the deadline, the cutoff, all that.
Wait a minute. Do I get to enter? Like, I want
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just type in Twin Power and we'll we'll enter everyone. And we really just can't thank you guys enough, because I really, when I saw your barn Besties, I was like, oh man, what a great name. First of all, like great tagline, great branding. And it just really reminded me again of Jeanni and I. I was like, I really have to contact these people. And I just got brave. And I was like, hi, I'm Helen. So we really can't thank you enough. And it's really been a great experience because now I'm just really determined to even try to do. My sister and I did a couple lives about a year ago. We tried to go back and forth on like a twin power hour. And you've really inspired me to like really kind of hop back onto that with my sister. So I could definitely see us doing some kind of twin power hour and bringing ourselves back up, and maybe we'll interview you guys.
Yes,
I think that would be even better, where we turn around and we interview the two of you on our socials and how you're growing your business. So I'm up for that challenge. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think you should. Stephanie was like, we need to do a live, and I was like, I kind of feel violated. What is a live? And actually, I love doing the lives because I can see you guys. And it's like we're sitting down we should like have coffee or tea, and like it's just fun. It's like getting together and having a conversation. So I totally encourage you to do it, and we would love to come on.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that, ladies. Ladies, you are amazing. I have to say, I watched a lot of your stuff, knowing we were. Your bloopers were hysterical. I loved your bloopers. They were so.
Oh, we have lots more of those.
Just like, your content is amazing. I love the fact that you were doing like barn tours. I love the whole vet. I worked with a vet. So when you did the vet space, I was like, please, people, listen to these tips, because when you work for a horse vet and you walk into a farm and you don't have an area that's like acceptable, you're like, oh my God, how am I doing this? When you're x-raying babies. Yeah. So I love everything that you ladies are doing, and it's inspiring. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for allowing me to hop on like so late.
Yeah, of course.
I was starting to get a little worried on you. I was like, where is my twin sister? We cannot do twin power if oh, by the way, I'm the younger. If you want to know who's 5 minutes younger, it's this guy right here.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being brave and messaging us, and we love to hear about your story, and we hope our subscribers love this live, and I hope they contact you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if anyone has any questions, they can contact us. And I am definitely down with interviewing you guys. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll get some links. We'll put some links down in the description. Like I said, it'll probably take a day or so to sort that all out with you ladies and get everything into the description. But we will absolutely do that. Megan, maybe we can also put that information on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll put it I'll post it. I'll tag you guys. And so hopefully people can get connected. And so you guys send us the link and we'll get it done.
Or maybe we'll tell them they have to come watch the live stream in order to find out all the details.
Absolutely.
And then they'll find out at the very end. If they would have just read the description the whole time, they would know.
You do have a point. All right.
Right?
I love that, Stephanie. I love it. You're always you have to do the action, the call to action at the end.
It is. It's like what do you call it? It's kind of like a hide and go seek sort of concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because we want them to learn more about you guys and your background, and why you're supporting this company, this brand that you're selling, and they got to learn all the things.
And how to work with family. How do you do it? I think it's hard.
I think it would be incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Personal experience, it's incredibly hard. There has to be a huge level of equal respect, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I think, and maybe even the fact that we're not in the same state, like that we do it online, probably does help a little bit. I think if we were both working at the farm, although when I do go home, I do muck stalls with the best of them. But I imagine we would probably bicker more if we were literally at the barn every day together. So we have the perfect combination.
You probably would. fact, again, I think Helen just nailed it on the head. Like, we can do this and not be in the same zip code. And, we get together on Zooms and it's really just been about like, how do we serve others? How do we serve other people, other horses? How do we help others? It really doesn't become about us at all. It's strictly about able to do for other people, whether it's with the products or with the income opportunity, the community opportunity. I mean, there's been so many different reasons why we can keep saying like why we love doing this business. And the last bit is the income. It's really been everything else above it. Getting opportunities to meet people, to meet women like yourselves, or, the women partnered with and all over this country, and get to see, it's a blessing. It honestly is a blessing.
I love it.
So
our Australian friend Sue has a little comment. She says, that's why I left my two sisters in Australia.
love it.
That's funny.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies. And here's to Twin Power and joining forces. I love it.
Thank you, Barn Besties.
Thanks for coming on, ladies.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Tuesday.
Have a great night. Megan, we'll stay on briefly again.
All right. Have a wonderful
Bye,
evening.
ladies. Thank you.
Ladies.
That was awesome. It's interesting how I feel like their story mirrors ours, or our story mirrors theirs.
I don't want to be
similar.
your twin.
No. But, just some of the stuff we talked about, I'm kind of like, okay.
I know. I love it because I'm like Jeanni and you're like Helen. So I can just call you Helen. Hey, Helen.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, they talk about when one of them's having a bad day or week, the other one's picking up. And I feel like you and I do a lot of the same. Like, I've gone through a whole mess the last year and a half. And there's days where I'm like, come on, Megan, we're going to run 13 miles. And there's some days where I'm like, do I have to? And you're like, yes, you do. So same concept.
Stephanie, where is that thumbnail? And you're like, you figure it out. And I'm like, but I can't.
Yeah. So
I do think it's awesome because, like I said before, in my past, I've always been told never to have a partner. And I have thought about the pros and cons of that. And I have also seen people be in partnership and it be unsuccessful, as well as a family. Like I have my family that I work with, and it can be a struggle, but I gotta say, Barn Besties is a lot of fun. I have a blast with you, and I feel like we're doing great things that I never would have done before. Like
we push each other.
Yeah, and like make each other uncomfortable, kind of like running. It's like we're figuring out our why, and I think bottom line, it's changing our industry. At least for me, it's about sharing our knowledge, and I hope making a change in our industry, because I feel like our industry needs to change, and I also feel like we can do that, and it's our legacy.
Yeah. And we're meeting people outside of our immediate circle, which is awesome. I just love, like the girls mentioned, like the farm tours we're going on, these live streams where we're meeting people across the US. That's been phenomenal. We should probably point out, we could do a live stream with anybody around the world. It might be a little challenging setting up the time zone changes, but I mean, this has been great. So and I feel like the trust level between you and I, we've known each other so long now. We've got that trust level, and I think we on a more deep level know, like, okay, we know the challenges of what Barn Bestie is. We have high expectations. We're going to work really hard on this, but at the end of the day, if something goes awry, we'll figure it out.
And we work together. I think going back to like the level of trust. Oh God, I don't know if I want. Oh God. This is a serious conversation, Sue. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh. I love that so much. Good job, Sue.
No, I have not. I'm on a quest. I hope I make it to Europe and Australia. I'm ready to do some barn tours. Because I want everybody to know this is for like the whole world. Hopefully we get to go all over the world to see barns, and I can find
Latches and hardware. So Sue, funny story is I didn't tell Megan I made that playlist. I just created it, stuck some of her videos in it, and was like, let's see how long it takes her to find this.
I found it and I ignored it. I think that is a good technique for people when you're working with someone, is ignore it sometimes. And then she poked me and then I had to respond. And now
Megan,
everybody picks
latches,
on me.
hooks, and hardware.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, people love it though. I love it. I think it's awesome. I'm like, there's a theme to these shorts she's been putting out.
You notice, but you know what I want to get into is a theme. I want to make Barn Bestie bibs, you know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Because Stephanie wants some merch.
Yeah. I don't know. When we do these videos, we either need to have hats or, well, right now it would be, winter coats, but shirts, hats, something. I'm like all about the hats to get out of the sun. So
I know I'm not a hat person, but maybe a bandana. We can be the Barn Bestie gang.
There you go. I love it.
We'll think of something. Now, what is our next live? Do you know?
Let's go take a looky-loo on our website. I gotta scooch my over to the other screen here. Let me drag it over here right in front of Megan. Okay, so we have, if I have them all scheduled is the thing. Megan, I have on the 17th, we've got Dr. Callie.
Ooh, we're going to have Dr. Callie. I'm so excited. And what are we talking about?
Well, I think we were going to take any questions that held over from when we talked about the cold weather, but I think we wanted to talk kind of a little bit about like senior horse care, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if anybody's got any like rollover questions from, that cold weather stuff, but yeah, a lot of people, if you keep your horses, they turn into senior citizens, like, but yeah, so she would be on the 17th, 7 p.m. Central Time. That's 5 p.m. California time. And then not far after that, 2 days later on the 19th, I'm so excited about this. We're going to be talking about the cost of running a horse farm. And that one that's a huge topic. How expensive the costs have just everything as far as owning a farm, the cost of labor, the cost of, hay, grain, electricity, water, manure removal, all that has skyrocketed, but has boarding rates kept up, or are farm owners starting to lose money, or, breaking even is just not good enough. These farm owners or business owners are entitled to not only make a profit, but make enough that they can actually maybe retire in life, not be homeless and poor. So that's the 19th, 7 p.m. again, Central Time. And then we've got another interesting conversation that's actually very well related to that. It's going to be talking about farm and horse owner or horse barn owner, farm owner burnout. How hard this business is to do. It's you can't just be like, I'm taking a sick day, and the horses can't stand unfed in their stalls and pastures. There has to be 365-day coverage for it. And on the same note as we're just talking about as far as costs and all that, that's challenging to find. 2 summers ago, I did that almost 2 weeks, the Europe thing. And it took me a couple months to get everything lined up, to get all my people in order, to make sure I could actually be gone. My people in order, like plan A, plan B, and plan C, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's from a wonderful gal in Georgia who's going to be joining us. She's running a very successful hunter jumper show barn. So really excited to talk to Maureen. So English Ivy Farms in Georgia. So I'm excited. That's going to be, those two are going to be really great. I'm super excited to talk to Dr. Callie. So, and then we are looking at filling up some lives in March, correct? We're looking
Correct.
at, got some people we're talking with.
I am working on that. Next week, I'll start planning my barn schedule, and then I will know the nights that I am available, and then I'll check and make sure they work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will schedule those lives. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, you've got some great people lined up, and you've been making some pretty exciting videos out in Cali. How much homework are you bringing me when you come back? I'm kind of scared.
Actually, I think you should be, because I think I have about 20 videos, like actual videos, not shorts. I think there's hundreds of shorts, but we made
some of those posting, so they're posted already.
Yeah,
right?
they're posted, but then you have them, so you got to wheedle through all of it. So that's going to be a lot of work for you. Sorry, but there'll be a lot of great content. I had 3 interviews over the weekend. One was a barn owner. She just bought a barn, and we get to hear her vision on, the relationship and why she did it, and it's about the relationship with the horses, and that's pretty awesome. And then we get to discuss moving from Germany. I got to speak with a German dressage trainer.
Okay.
And then I also got to speak with a Canadian. And yeah, I'm really excited about that one. She comes in winter. She's a snowbird like myself from Canada, and she comes down to California with her mentor of 17 years. So I'm very excited to share. Now we're getting international.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to break into that, because I really hope we can get a trainer or a professional, not even a trainer, a professional in the equine industry from every state in the USA, and then hopefully we'll start branching out in countries. So I'm dreaming big. So anyone who's watching this that's out of state, we'd love to talk to you, and we have lives. Maybe one day we'll become so big we can go to different states and do barn tours. I would love to do that. Steph, what do you think?
I think that'd be great. Take our weekends, take off at a Friday night, head out to someplace.
Yeah.
And check out barns. I just think it's amazing. It's so different, like what you're seeing down there, because obviously the weather is so different than, what we're seeing here. It's pretty cool, versus what we might see in Florida versus what we might see in Maine versus.
It's very different. The stables here, I would never build in Wisconsin.
No,
some
because they're
of them are
airy and open.
Absolutely beautiful, and I found my dream barn. It's here in California, and I've actually dreamed of this barn, and it has the right latches. So I know
has appropriate hardware and latches.
It does. Yeah, it's definitely my dream barn. But what I love is just seeing how different it is and how trainers run their businesses. I haven't been able to wrangle a farrier or a vet, but I'm working hard on branching and twisting wrists and all of that. But I hope people start to watch Barn Besties and view us as a community and a resource, and so that it's not a scary thing. Like you're not being judged. Like it's like, oh, this is a great option because we're in California, or this is a great option because I run a training barn, or I have my own private stable. So
I think a lot of people, Megan, are scared to come on camera. But as I have done some interviews without you or with you, I'm just like, all you're doing for us is looking at a cell phone. just the back of a cell phone. There's no big camera in your face. It's just this little cell phone. It's not intimidating. We all look at our cell phones throughout the day, so
it's kind of awkward at first. I disagree.
it's awkward, but after a while, you're kind of like, whatever. You're just looking at this box and yammering at it.
Because I don't like being on video, and I don't like talking. And here we are. Like, look at what I'm doing. I'm talking to a lot of people, and I'm on a lot of videos now.
Yeah. And, it's funny when we do like progressive videos with farm owners or trainers or, somebody in the industry, you can kind of see how nervous they are at the beginning, and you can kind of see the progression of them relaxing and going, oh, this isn't hard. This isn't scary because it's just a cell phone.
And we love bloopers, and I create my own bloopers, people. Like, yeah.
Have you watched the four videos I uploaded recently, the bloopers on a couple of them at the beginning?
No, that is on my to-do list. I have yet to do that, so you can keep poking me. It will get done by Friday.
I like to add the bloopers into the beginning as a little bit of a teaser.
Oh, I love them. I love them in the beginning. I expect my favorite one is when we did the magnesium in my arena and you were chasing me.
You were like, what are you doing? I'm like, run. And you're like, oh my God.
We have to be serious. We're on video. We're giving knowledge and education. We cannot be laughing.
And I'm like, you're going to wear this magnesium if you don't run. Problem is we were kind of far away, but that was fun.
It was one of our first ones. We're just like fine wine. We just keep getting better.
Exactly. So, any updates? California is still safe right now?
Yeah. Okay. There isn't any fires. It's rained a lot.
Hallelujah.
I mean, I don't really have anything positive to say. I'm really looking forward to the burnout one because I am burnt out, and I'm happy to share that with the world because I think a lot of trainers are. Like, I posted about Eliza's survey, and we're all kind of working on our love of horses, but we're not actually taking care of ourselves. And so I would like to be that example and be, I don't know if, the first one to say it, but now I'm focused on getting through that and finding my joy. Right. And so hopefully being an example to trainers, and hopefully that's what Barn Besties does, is that we encourage and inspire people to make some changes. We need to make some changes.
Yep, absolutely. Well, so the only thing that I'm concerned about now is I'm seeing nonstop news articles about earthquakes all over the U.S. and the island of Greece where I was, that Santorini island, and so be careful.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it.
Long gone out of there before you get a rumble again. Didn't you say what did you say it sounded like? A truck driving by or something?
Actually, it sounded like Bigfoot stepped on the house. So I've only lived through one earthquake, and it wasn't the version I was thinking. Like, nothing shook. It just went wham. And then apparently, it was bizarre because our Airbnb lady was like, "Did you feel the earthquake?" And I was like, "No, I thought your roof fell in."
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and apparently after, the next day we were talking, and she's like, "Actually, that's what most earthquakes are." And I was like, that isn't what I see in the movies.
Of course not. The movies are always terrifying and scary, but no, even Yellowstone has had a couple of 3-point somethings and low 4-point somethings, but that's not shocking for Yellowstone.
Yeah, well, there was an earthquake. They felt it an hour north of us in Chino Hills, and it was a 3.4 on Monday. I didn't feel anything, so I'll keep you posted on that. We
have earthquakes in Wisconsin, but we generally don't know it. We don't realize it. They're low, such low on the numbers that I don't think anybody knows it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, good. Glad to hear you're safe. This was great. And what do we got to look forward to? We are talking to Miss Lori this week. We've had our Meeting Lori video came out. And let's see, today is what day? What day is it today, Megan? It's Tuesday.
So
We got another video comes out tomorrow.
I love Lori's
and
farm.
that would be, Lori's got some really cool buildings on her facility. So there are a lot. I hope people really enjoy seeing them. So yeah, I think we could probably wrap this up. I know we're kind of dragging on here, and I know how you love that, Megan.
I'm getting better at talking, Steph. Getting better.
Yeah, you're getting more comfortable. It's good. It's good. Actually, it's really nice because we can catch up in person. So
yeah.
But yeah, thanks to everybody who came on. Definitely thanks to the sisters, the Twin Power sisters.
They were
and
awesome.
Looking forward to sharing that that little contest with everybody. So we'll see what they send and how we end up doing that. But yeah, it'll be a little Easter egg hunt for people. They may have to watch the video a little bit to find out that the information might be down below. Maybe.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll say goodnight to everybody. Thank you, everybody. I still see a bunch of you are on here. So thank you guys so much for your support. We are trying hard to grow. Right, Megan?
Trying. I'm working. I'm stealing phones left and right.
So yeah, appreciating the support so much. And we always say, please make sure you're subscribed, or if you're not subscribed, please do join our Barn Besties family. And yeah, we got a lot of content. We are pushing the content we have uploaded right now to YouTube is pushed out well into June. So it's exciting. So yeah. And then Megan's making more.
And so are you.
So, I am. Yep. So, all right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all on our next live, and of course in our videos that are coming out this week and beyond. So bye everybody.